Abre YouTube. ¿Desde acá?
My computer?
Yep. Got it. I think we are live right now. Yep. Got it. I think we are live right now. ¿Se escucha, muchachos? ¿Sí se escucha, muchachos, desde acá? Tony, ¿me escuchas? ¿O no se escucha?
Sí, se escucha, pero es like low.
¿Sí se escucha, muchachos, desde acá?
Tiene un like lag.
¿Eco?
Lag.
Lag.
No, it's live, pero okay.
Es doble live. ¿Qué tal,
Oh,
amigos?
God.
¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Cómo están? Ahorita voy a poner unas acá para que no nos escuchemos doble.
Okay,
Es doble live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Qué tal, amigos? ¿Cómo están? Ahorita voy a poner unas para que no nos escuchemos doble. What's that?
Existe the Sealer Channel. Eso se puede cambiar.
Eso se puede cambiar. ¿Cómo están? Este es un test, donde nosotros necesitamos saber si obviamente funciona. Si te quieres un poquito mover para que no se escuche doble mientras tanto. Ahorita vamos a esperar a Carlitos, ya viene desde Australia right now. Si quieres un poquito mover para que no se escuche doble mientras tanto. Ahorita vamos a esperar a Carlos.
Sí se escucha el...
Ya viene desde Australia right now. A ver, que entra.
Este es el... Sí se escucha el...
No sé si se puede hacer el mute de este. Desde que. A ver cómo se escucha así. Vamos a ver cómo se escucha así. Sin el audio directamente de ellos. Porque vamos a tener el audio de acá.
Ajá.
Vamos a ver. ¿Tienes el Solar Channel abierto? ¿Y qué se mira en el Solar Channel?
Okay.
No se escucha el green screen, ¿ok? ¿Vas a hacer algo ahí? Listo, amigos, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Daniel Ocampo, estamos otra vez, como siempre, estamos desde Dallas, Texas. Y estamos con Mr. Tony Guillén.
Woohoo! ¿Cómo estamos? What is good? What is good? Yes, we are live here at the Solar Channel with Mr. Daniel Ocampo. And soon we got a special guest con uno de los, se puede decir uno de los mentores. Uno de los mentores de muchos. Big mentor for a lot of people in the solar industry.
Huh?
And really excited to have him on. It's, how to put it? It's like a, you know, how we have like a celebrity, like kind of in a shock, and that's not me.
That's not you.
But it could be me. I don't know.
In the future.
And then, you know.
Your future.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Ready to learn me? Oh, yeah, okay. Should be good to go. I'm about to share it in Facebook. If we can make it happen. All right. There they are. Can you guys hear us?
Let's roll. Yes. Yeah, perfect. Sorry about the delay, guys.
What is
Technical.
good?
Can you hear me?
Yep. You sound
Carlos.
clear.
So good. How are you, brother?
Really good, dude. How are you?
Pretty good. Working hard in here in Texas, and the hot Texas. But you're kind of doing the same thing over there, right?
Yeah, well, you guys are real hot right now, right? 120 degrees, 115 degrees or more.
Oh, a little more. Yes, a little more than that. But you know, the more sun that we have, the more people is looking for our help.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Are you guys still out door knocking as well?
We do absolutely door knocking. Door knocking is the main thing that we do. But it's another system that we have in place. Then we're gonna help everybody. But dude, thank you so much to be here in the Solar Channel with your partner in crime too. Can you
Thanks, man.
introduce us
Thanks for having
to
us on.
What was that?
Mr. Chet?
That's it. Yeah, Mr. Chad.
That's awesome. That's awesome. This is right here is Tony the Tiger too.
I love it.
What is that? Yes.
Uh,
So nothing,
Awesome.
Carlos. We've been looking your stuff. We've been looking for so many years. Your trajectory in the industry. We follow. I believe we share mentors, which is the Grand Cardone, Uncle G.
It's an X, baby.
Right. Here we go. Here we go. So nothing. This podcast is to basically again help other people, empower other people to share your story, and maybe a lot of people can get resent with where you at and where you come from. And like I say, we were ready to make some connections, really good connection with you. And thank you so much for being here.
Love it, man. Thanks for having us on. We're super excited to share some value today. I know there's going to be a lot of people listening in today that are just getting into the solar industry. Maybe they've been in it for a while. They need to be resold, need to be re-energized as well. I know personally myself, after over, 5.5 years in the industry, it goes up and down, just like any industry with sales. But there's specific strategies that we can show, we can explain on how to get yourself always going up rather than, staying stagnant or going down.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. That's really great to hear. That there's a lot of people getting into the industry, and we always promote you, man. It's like, hey, you gotta go check out this channel. You gotta go check out his program, everything that they're doing over there. Like, it's really good to have somewhere to guide people, right? And we always promote you guys because it's the type of training that you guys offer, especially with Villareal Pro. We love it. We tell, hey, people, if you guys are not on it, then you guys are missing out. So if you guys can, talk a little bit of how you guys met, kind of merged and started getting into this.
Yeah, man. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Solar is one of those things that, look, the way everyone got into solar around 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, it's a common story. Most people got into it by accident. They didn't go to school thinking, oh, I want to get into renewable energy, environmental. I'm going to help people save money, right? Everyone goes to school. We're probably almost lost at school trying to figure out what to do. I personally myself, tried a whole different bunch of uni courses, TAFE courses, and it just didn't work for me. And I tried to, I worked for a corporate company for many years, for about 5 or 6 years, and something just wasn't right. It was, everyone was working really hard, and I was looking at the people at the top, and they were all quite, they were gray haired, 50, 60 years old. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm only 20. So I've got 40 years to get to that. It's going to take a long, long time. So I quickly worked out that wasn't for me. So I left that and I started my own business. I had no idea, nothing, no knowledge about business at all. I'm one of those guys that I'll just, get in and try to figure it out as I go. That didn't go very well, although I learned a lot. I learned how to work hard. I learned how to, find answers. I learned how to quickly apply new knowledge that I got as well. I left that to start another startup. So I dropped about, I think, $50,000 to create an app, because at that stage I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk and he was talking all about apps. You've got to create an app.
Gary, yeah.
yeah, right. So that was back in 2014, 2015, where everyone wanted to create an iPhone app. So that's what I did. And I thought, all right, if I create the app, I'm going to get rich. Everyone's going to download it. They're going to use my service, and I'm never going to have to worry about money ever again. Created it, and then crickets, nothing.
Oh, man.
I think the only people who downloaded it were my dad, and I had this one random Chinese guy, and I would probably still find his name because he downloaded it. I didn't know who it was. He used the service. We fulfilled it, and I was like, oh my God, it worked. But the main thing that was missing was sales. Like, I didn't know how to get my name out there. I didn't know how to promote. I didn't know about marketing, but I didn't know how to go out and acquire customers. I thought, if I build something that people needed, that people were just going to come. And that wasn't the case. So I was in heavy debt, a lot of debt back in 2000 and end of 2015, start of 2016. Things were really, really bad. I had to move I was living in an apartment, but I moved into a room with my housemate at the time, and we rented out the other room to someone who paid the rent for the entire apartment. So we were sort of living there for free. And I was looking for work. I didn't know where to look. I didn't want to go back to corporate. I was just confused. And the guy who we rented the other room to, he came home one day and he said, hey, I just went to a job interview and it's a scam. They're telling me that I can make, 6 figures in 6 months. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. What was it? And they're like, oh, they were selling solar. That's the first time I heard the word solar. Right?
That sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Give me the number, dude. Give me the number. I'm going to go check it out. I'll go see if it's a scam or not, because I need the money. And I went to the interview. I got the job, closing position, had no idea what it was, had no idea what solar was. But I just, I went, head first. I stayed up, I think like 24 hours the night before, just memorizing my script. That day I closed 2 sales on my first day. So that was about $6,000.
Wow.
Let's go.
And since then, haven't looked back. And then I met Chad. And that's how we started.
Chad. Let's go.
Yeah, so what I wanted to
talk
say,
to me about Chad.
yeah, the intent was there. The commitment was there for Carlos, which is why he was able to get those 2 sales on the very first day. I mean, very similar to Carlos, I had a middle-class upbringing, but I always wanted more. So I was always thinking, how can I acquire that rather than I can't get it? And so I was always thinking about different ways to sell things. And straight from high school, I went into stockbroking while I was at university. I did that for about 6 years. And then after that, started various businesses. And just like Carlos, I did get myself further and further into debt. And but the things that remained consistent and were promotion and promoting, marketing myself, and sales. And so once I figured that out, I started to focus on those things. And it's basically focusing on sales that brought Carlos and I together, because we were in the same industry before solar as well. So he had the energy, I was drawn to the energy as well. And so combined, we thought, what can we actually create that can enable us to sell a lot, but make sure that, we're bringing the right people on board and provide the right platform, so then they can sell a lot as well.
Wow. And for how long you guys know each other?
I reckon since 2014 or 2013, we bumped into each other in the same industry. And we were always chatting. So 10 years or so. Maybe just less.
Tony have a really, really good questions right now. This guy is say, I can't wait. I want to know about Carlos. I want to chat. Yeah, because we have to follow the steps of the leaders in here.
I just want to say as well, real quick, the reason why we're connecting today is because of decisions that were made 5 years ago. So 5 years ago, when I first got into the industry, I needed help to sell. I needed help I needed resources, I needed training, I needed people to be around. And the only people that I was around was the people at the company, the solar company that I was working with. And it was strange because they were quite secretive with their training. Like the best guy or the best guys, they didn't want to tell you what they were doing. And I just thought that was strange because we had separate customers, like we weren't visiting the same customers. So I remember at that time I was sitting on my missus' bed and I'm like, where do I find more solar pros? And I'm like, what if I just create like this group? I don't know if anyone's going to join, but let's just create it anyway. So I used a name that was similar to another really big group. And I just changed the word sales pros to solar pros. And then all of a sudden, the first year, I think there was maybe 50 people. The second year it was 200. And then the third year is when the US exploded with solar, which was about 2 to 3 years, two and a half years ago. So if we look at the graph, it just goes boom. And now there are people in there who are connecting, creating businesses together, partnering up. You know, we're doing podcasts together as well. People sharing leads, people sharing, you know, appointments, sales. Yeah, so that's the reason why we're together today.
Love it, man. I love it. That's inspiring, you know, the way that you're talking, you know, and you can tell when somebody's really passionate about something, you know, and you can tell when I could even tell there's just the way that you speak whenever you're talking to clients, you know, they can feel that energy, right? I'm pretty sure chat too, you know, once they feel that energy, they're like, man, if this guy's sold, I gotta be sold too, right? And exactly. It's really cool when you're talking about the training, because when I always tell Daniel whenever I first started, zero training. You know, for me, it was like the worst financial year, but the best experience in solar, right? No sales, but just getting knowledge, which was pretty tough at the time. But we do have a couple questions for you guys. It's we like to play a little game with you know, our guest, our special guests like you guys is. So if you guys, so these questions are coming from just people, you know, that we kind of just talked to, they would ask them. It's just very, very simple questions. If you hear the question, you don't want to answer it, just say pass, right? But let's get started. You ready, Daniel?
I'm ready.
Okay, are you guys ready?
We're ready, man.
Carlos? All right,
Yeah,
cool.
ready.
All right, so first question that we got is, if not solar, what business would you be doing? Boom.
SaaS, software as a service.
Software service?
I would try anything door to door, maybe selling roofing.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. We got favorite book.
How to win friends and influence people.
Nice. Carlos?
10X rule.
10X rule, baby.
The 10X rule.
If you guys ask me what book that changed my life, Tony and Carlos in chat, is the Be Obsessed or Be Average, man.
Yeah.
The same month that I finished this month. I mean, it was in December, maybe 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago. I don't know. So it was when I read that book, I sold 21 houses in 1 month, and he sold 18. And he sold in December. In December, when it's you know, the timeline is really, really short. It was my best month with this book.
Wow, man! Yeah. Congratulations, man. That's nuts, man.
I wish I'm making the same what I make right now. It was a little bit of money back then.
Yeah.
Next question. All right, next question. Favorite motivational movie?
2 for the Money.
Man, I like Boiler Room, man.
Yeah.
Boiler Room. I think Vin Diesel was in that one, right?
Mejor de lo que sea.
I like Boiler Room because just the energy that they portray on the phones and the guys hustle to get to the top. I just like the story.
Nice. What was the one that chat? Which one did you say?
2 for the Money with Matthew McConaughey. They are selling sports betting. So you see the rise of Matthew McConaughey's Brandon Lang character, you know, from nothing to something big, but then it gets to his head and then he comes crashing down. So a lot of lessons to be learned there.
Okay. Nice.
What is the best mentor that you guys have right now?
Grant Cardone.
Yeah, GC, man.
Yeah, you see?
Powerhouse. Whenever we think that we're working hard, we just look at like, Grant's Instagram and we're like, well, this guy, he's like triple the age. He's like going nuts. Yeah.
We'll see. Fill in the blank. Success is your
Duty.
An obligation.
Responsibility, baby.
a responsibility. Oh man. A penny safe.
Well, he's a penny earned, but
It's still a penny. These guys are hardcore.
Yeah, man. That's good. That's how you know they got trained by the best. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure, man. For sure.
What is not man, I'm obsessed with Grant. Just last question about Grant. How many months? Tell me, how many months Grant have to follow up with her wife before they get married? How many months?
13 months, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, man. I missed
13 months.
13 months.
13 months. Yeah, 13 months. But the guy say, yeah, you have to follow up is the key, but don't be so creepy. Don't be creepy, but just follow up.
Yeah.
We got on here. If you want to know your celebrity crush, man or woman? I hope we know.
No, Josh.
No,
I'll say Grant Cardone, man. He's my crush.
No, I'm just trying to think celebrity crush. I haven't actually had one that I've been crushing on lately, aside from Grant Cardone.
He's like Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
There we go. We got favorite car, or your favorite sports car, and are you driving that car?
And one day I want a Lamborghini. I'm not driving it yet, but I will be.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not driving at the moment, but Ford Mustang GT 1965.
Ooh, it's a classic.
Okay.
A muscle car.
Yeah.
That's good. One of the very, very question that everybody, a lot of people ask me, everybody have different opinions, but what you guys think if you put solar panels on your house and all that, which one do you choose? Lease or loan?
Okay. Yeah. Look, I'm always big on ownership. Owning the solar panels. Look, in Australia, we don't really have lease options, only because like the cost of solar has come down dramatically, that it just makes a lot more sense to own it. I can see why it makes sense in the US though, especially if someone isn't planning to be at the property for the whole 25 years. But I've always gone ownership personally.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, in the residential space, ownership is much more common in Australia because of the prices. But yeah, in commercial, lease does exist, and that is, I guess, like available. But most people have the mindset of ownership here as well. But there is some interest in PPAs, loans.
Yeah, and when we're selling the ownership, it's very easy to say, hey, look, guys, you own your home, right? They're like, yeah. And you're probably paying more to own your home. Yeah, I am. Okay, well, solar is exactly the same thing. You're going to pay more on the short term. It's going to cost you a little bit extra every month, but you're going to own it. It's the same thing. And they're like, oh, and then it just like clicks. It makes sense to the customer.
For sure. One thing that we use here when you're talking about ownership, you guys probably use it too, is for example, we like your last name, Villanueva. Oh, I actually have a question on your last name, Carlos. That's actually my mom's last name. So I don't know if it might be related. I don't know. Anyway,
Maybe.
But on the ownership, we do like to use like their last name. So Villanueva Energy, right? So instead of the utility company name, so instead of the utility company name, we're like, hey, now it's gonna be Villanueva Energy. And then right there when we say it, like it clicks.
Oh,
right there. So yeah, we you know, when we're talking about ownership, like that little phrase that we've been using has been helping out a lot. So,
yeah. Man, this is why I love this.
That's really good.
Because we get to share things that work, because what would have worked 5 years ago is probably not working today. And the salesperson who started 5 years ago and is using the same thing and his stats are going down, he's clearly not watching, you know, podcasts, not, you know, looking for new knowledge. That right there, I can tell you right now, whoever listens to that and whoever implements that, their sales will go up, because they're the analogy and getting the customer to understand what, you know, what they're not actually buying anything. Like, people aren't buying anything when they're going solar. All they're doing is just redirecting, right? And if it's Villanueva energy as opposed to Duke energy or PG&E, bang, makes sense.
Bang. It's like, let's go. Because we have the saying, if it makes sense,
it makes money.
Damn.
And if it makes sense, and then for the homeowner, when we're telling them, we say, and if this makes sense, you guys will save money. So if it doesn't make sense, you guys are not gonna save money.
I love it, man.
So we like to use that, yeah.
Something that in the same topic, well, we you know, little by little we start to closing the homeowners, right, with their own answers. And I always ask, like, yeah, Mr. Homeowner, so do you own the house? Yeah, I own the house. Oh, that's perfect. For how long you been own it? Only for 5 years. Oh, that's awesome. And before this house, do you rent it or you buying? No, I renting. Oh, that's good. So you decide it's better idea to own it instead of renting. Yeah. Why is that? Because of this. Oh, because of that. Oh, because, I mean, a lot of people tell me, even because they smoke weed in the apartments. Okay. So basically what I hear is, you don't like to throw the money into the trash, right? No, I don't like it. That's great. And I show the light, the little, that's exactly what you've been doing for the past X number of years. So what I try to do is, boom, with this, you know, with their own, you know, dialect, just close to deal with that.
Yeah, man. It's like judo, because they already know the answer. You've just got to help them understand it. You've got to help them come up with it themselves, because you look at an amateur salesperson or someone who's just started and they're telling the customer is just going to feel told, you know, classroom, teacher-student setting. You know, like if we feel like we're back at school, all of a sudden our ears are just going to get blocked. But when it's collaborative, you're working it out together, you're asking questions, the customer is starting to come up with their own answers, then they're going to close themselves every time.
Yes, I like that. Tell me, Chad, tell me something, because I bet Chad knocked doors too. Tell me something they, you know, bizarre happened indoors that you said, like, wow, you know, I have to talk to Carlos. What happened to me this today?
Like about how I actually got into solar? Is that the question?
No, the question is something bizarre, something funny, something like out of this mind.
Like your favorite door-to-door story.
Yeah.
Favorite door-to-door story. I mean, well, we meet so many different characters. And what Carlos was saying earlier about being collaborative is, you know, being able to relate to a customer when they're incredibly different. We've met so many diverse characters, but you know, it's when you're able to, for example, walk into someone's home that may be a hoarder. How do you connect with them on the same level and have that conversation where it's two-way, you're connecting, we both understand one another, and then are able to get into agreement and then help them go solar. You know, there are some other situations as well with different types of customers as well, but it's being able to find common ground with many different types of people. What are some of the funny stories, like Carlos? Like,
yeah, man.
Carlos,
you've been invited for dinner. You've also had, like, you know, one customer ask if you can stay the night, because that's how deep the connection was, right?
Yeah, some crazy stuff, man. Like, we'll do whatever it takes to get a deal, right? Whatever it takes. To get a deal. And when you're in the moment, and someone's like, "Oh, look, if you don't," because sometimes you go to blitzes far away, and the customer knows that you're not from there, and they know you've got to drive back, you know, 2-3 hours. I went to a customer one time, and I went with my girlfriend, and we were there doing the deal. And then the customer started to get distracted. And he's like, look, guys, let's have dinner first and then come back to this. And this was when I first started. So I didn't know how to control it. And so we went outside and he made a barbecue for an hour. And I was like, oh, wow, it's crazy, right? I'll eat it up. And then as the time went on and on and on, you know, he's serving us food. He's like, hey, why don't you come down to the basement and check out my wine collection? And I'm like, nah. So this guy opened up the floor and he went down into the dark. And I said to my girlfriend, yeah, we are not going down there. Other times, and you guys have probably experienced this before, never judge a customer by, like, by the house or, you know, how they live. Never judge it, because the people who you least expect to have a good credit score will have a good credit score, right? There are homes that I've been into that are just, you know, very trashed, like all stuff everywhere, you know, even the floor, it's dirt, like they've pulled up the floor and it's just
no floorboard.
Yeah, no floorboards. And my mind is saying, get out of there. They're not going to pass credit. This is a waste of time. But the salesperson in me is like, look, take everyone through the process. And if they qualify, they qualify. And if they don't, they don't. So I took them through the process and they qualified and they ended up getting installed. So that's like an extreme example. But like in, you know, normal examples or normal homes, you might see like a house with a car that's very, very old, or a house that hasn't been renovated for a long, long time. Don't walk past it. Speak to them anyway, because they probably need your help to save money.
Yes. Yes, I like that one. I definitely like that one, man. Yeah. And again, there's so many people out there. Then, you know, solar, it makes so much, there's so much sense that they pay so expensive kilowatt. When they finish with the whole deal, they're like, thank you, man. Really, thank you. Because again, this is not a game. This is, you know, it's young people doing this, but this is not a game. What happened here is you helping homeowners to go solar, saving money, and they can use that money for something that really, really, you know, is matter for them, their family. I don't know, maybe a quinceañera, whatever the case, food. Because again, I promise you, $40, $50 in a month, that means the work for some people. So I really help. And obviously I tell the homeowners, I have 3 kids, and I tell them, you know what, every time I finish, you know what, thank you so much. Because what you do, it goes, you know, farther than your house. You're helping my kids too. Because I don't know if you believe in global warming or not, but everybody believes in pollution. So you help my family to do it. And until that, I thank them. They kind switch. They do a click. Say, oh yeah, it's not just about savings. It's about something more bigger than us.
Yeah.
That's good.
No one goes solar to save $10 a week. That's like, you know, if you get into solar to help someone save $10 a week, like they're probably already wasting $10 a week on KFC or whatever, something else.
Yeah.
So, you know, people don't go solar to save $10 a week. There's always that bigger picture, like, you know, you're going to own it. It's yours. You're going to make a bigger difference where, you know, part of something so much bigger. When they understand that, you know, you're reducing cancellation rates, you're building a friend as well. You know, you're building a referral business of other people who they're going to start referring to you as well. Yeah.
That's really, Chad, when you start the business, I mean, what drive you? What drive you? Just the opportunity to be in the solar industry? You know, what drive you in the beginning when you started into the business?
Well, creativity, freedom were, you know, big driving factors as well. But, you know, it's also being among like-minded people as well, because as part of freedom, you don't want to place limitations on yourself. And if you surround yourself with other motivated people as well, you know, with different dreams, right? Then you can start adopting any one of these dreams and make it your own, because you're like, oh, wow, that actually does appeal to me. That is incredibly exciting, right? And so that is what actually drew me. And then when you achieve success together, you can all enjoy it together as well.
You guys have a really nice culture. Your family, right? Because your partner in crimes, all your crew in Solaria. I love your culture. I mean, it's like a family. How many people are in the office in the regular basis?
It's roughly about 15.
Yeah.
Okay. And how, I mean, if you put like in 3 words or 3 sentences, what, I mean, I bet money don't drive them anymore, because things good in this industry is really well paid. But what drives your crew? What bring you into every day to grind it and to hustle?
Yeah, man, I would say it's winning together. So, I mean, you can make money anyway. In fact, if you're a solo, if you're an independent solo salesperson, you could make a ton. You just go out there and knock by yourself. But it's when you do it together and everyone wins together, and you have fun together as well, because you're doing life with people and you're all on that same journey. So, we just came back from a blitz, and what we found on that blitz, lifelong relationships, man. Like all our door-to-door guys, our appointment setters, that team, these guys are, 4 guys that didn't know each other before they joined the company. And now these guys are, they go out on the weekends, they sleep at each other's houses, they cook together, man, they do everything together. And it's because they're all winning together as well. So when one of them's feeling down, they pull each other up, they protect each other. It's for them, it's like, they're just like bulletproof.
What do you think?
The fun aspect as well. So, as humans, we look for things that are fun, right? And if we can get paid for having fun, man, I'll just do more of it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I don't have a question.
Well, I was gonna just tag along with Carlos. Is what everything you talked about, which is brotherhood, being together, winning together. It always makes me think of soccer teams, because I used to play soccer back in the day professionally, and that aspect right there is huge in soccer teams. They travel together, they eat together, they win, they lose. What else? They train together, they go through the tough trainings together. So when you're talking about bulletproof, it's like they're there for each other, right? Especially when things go not good for somebody, they always have somebody to lean to, which is pretty awesome. What I've seen in sales teams that I've been in, and now with our team now, it's like it always brings back memories to me from soccer. It's like, oh man, like these guys are here with us. We're going to go knock doors. We're going to make these calls. We're going to go to these appointments. We go through the credit fails, right? We go through the credit fails together. Like it's just like it's an interesting roller coaster, when you're with the team, because everybody experiences it. Yeah. I like it.
The blitzes, I think blitzes are something that every company should do. I remember on the last day of the blitz, I was driving the van with the appointment setters in the back, and it was the last day. So we had checked out of the Airbnb. Everything was in the van. We were about to head back to the main city, and there was 3 appointments left. So I went to the first appointment, and that was a no-show. Went to the second appointment, that was a deal. Went to the third appointment, and the guys were in the car, and they wanted to wait in the car rather than wait at the shops. And so I went into I just parked the car. They were waiting, walked to the appointment, and then I walked straight back. And they're like, oh my God, what happened? I'm like, oh, look, the second homeowner wasn't there, so I'm going to go back in 30 minutes, right? And they were surprised. They were like, oh my God, I didn't know that you would do that, because as appointment setters, they just set the initial appointment. They don't really know what happens once you pass the appointment on. So we waited in the car 30 minutes, just chit-chatting. And then I went back, and then I didn't come back for 2.5 hours. And they were like,
Oh,
they were freaking out. They thought I'd left them. So they were texting me. They were like, hey, Carlos, is everything okay? Where are you? Should we come up? And I'm texting them like, no, man, I'm closing this deal. Just relax.
Man,
So,
they're that close to calling 911 or the cops. Like, my buddy's in there. Oh wow, man, that's crazy. That's awesome, man. Great story. No, I love it. I love it. So we have something to well, you guys have been doing this for a while, and anybody that's starting in the industry, is there like words of encouragement that you guys can give out to them? And because it's not always easy when somebody's starting out, right? Pretty much in anything. What words of encouragement or maybe some guidance into just keep going, right? Like, what words of encouragement do you guys have for people that are maybe struggling in the industry right now?
My advice would be connect with the right team, people that you gel with, because even if you're feeling down right now, start to look for these people, communicate with them, be around them, and I mean, whatever that actually means. So for example, if being around them means shadowing them and supporting them in any way, just do that, just so you can pick yourself back up, learn from them just by being around them, and then start implementing that in your life as well.
Yeah, man, I would say exactly the same thing. Find a team. Number one, like if you're getting into solo, if you're getting into the industry, look around, look for different teams, and look for a team that that you share the same culture, because that's the culture is what's going to make it fun. And culture isn't just going out and to party. That's not the culture. The culture is like what's going to hold you accountable when you're there with the team, right? The other stuff, they're just rewards. But find a team that you gel with, find a team that you share the same culture, that you share the same vision. And then as a new guy, what you want to do is stop everything else that you're doing. Just like 2 weeks or a month, just commit. That's it. Don't do anything else. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your girlfriend, tell your boyfriend, whatever. Say, hey guys, I'm getting into this one thing. It's solar sales. This is going to be my sole focus. It's all I'm going to be thinking about. It's all I'm going to be concentrating on. You're going to do me a favor by allowing me to have that space, and burn the bridge and just go all in. Because when you go all in, you're just going to have the motivation to take the action required to learn as quickly as possible, to knock on that door when you don't feel like knocking on the door, to stay out 6 p.m. when the sun's gone down, or if you're a closer, to go to a 10 a.m. appointment, a 12, a 2, a 4, a 6, and then an 8, and go to it with motivation because you don't have anything to go back to. And when you're doing that, like Grant Cardone says, man, like creativity follows commitment. So you commit first and you start becoming creative on how to achieve those goals, how to reach those targets.
Oh man.
So now that is the next question then. I mean, how long do you give to somebody to be fully committed? I mean, if somebody are not fully committed or full soul in the idea about this, I mean, you give it a period of time they can stick together, or say, you know what, if like 100 commit, I can compromise with you. What is your advice to people there? Like they want to be, but they can. I'm the same way. If you not fully commit in something, forget about it.
Yeah, well, if they're joining, Sorry, I was just going to say, if they're joining a team, our responsibility is ensuring that they get a result as quickly as possible. Because if they do get that result as quickly as possible, then I believe that they're going to commit. If it's already clear to them what they're getting into and what type of result they can achieve, right? So once they achieve that result, commitment should take care of itself. But if the person constantly requires hand-holding, or I just don't believe that they're committed after that. So in our case, there have been members like that who have been able to get the results, but they've drifted off for one reason or another. They're not committed. right? So then the responsibility is on them.
Yeah, the biggest sign of whether someone is committed is their proactiveness to reach out to the team and keep other people accountable and promote the team. The biggest sign that we find from someone who is not committed is when things go quiet, they disappear into the shadows, and it's like, hey, where is this person? Where are they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the culture takes care of those who are committed because it breeds more results. The culture also looks after those who are not committed, because the ones who are not committed, they don't actually want to come back, and they cut themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Having culture. We talk about it here. You guys have heard of FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Yeah, like people see people winning and they're on the bench. You know, they're on the bench and they're seeing everybody having success and winning and whatnot. And they're, man, like, I could be doing that, you know.
Yes.
And what we tell people is, like, if you don't jump on the train and just be here, you know, the train's gonna leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know? And you're gonna say, man, I was there. I know those guys. I know those people, man. You know.
Ranker don't say the same thing. Hey, you have to hire them fast, and hire them fast. How do it go? Hire them
fast and then fire fast.
And fire fast. That's the speed. The speed is the new currents.
Yeah.
It's
all about speed.
And then that leads to the last topic in here is recruiting. How you guys think? How important do you think is recruiting into get new blood into your organization?
Yeah,
recruitment is key.
Yeah, it's like solar is a recruiting business. Like, it's one thing that we've worked out over the last 12 or so months. Solar, it's a recruiting business for the company to continue. It's a recruiting business. You got to have people coming through the door all the time. Same with leads. So it's people coming through the door to work for the company, and it's leads coming through, to feed the people that we're actually recruiting. But if you're not recruiting, or if you drop the ball on recruiting, the company gets stale. It's a team. It's got to have revolving doors, people coming through the door all the time. It creates excitement. It creates suspense. It creates, like a buddy system where people can help other people. Because one thing is, always selling, being in front of a customer selling, but the other aspect of sales is helping other people to sell as well.
Love it. Yeah, man.
I just want to add to that as well. It creates competition as well. Because when you bring in there's new energy, and that competition keeps everyone on their toes as well.
Yep. Yeah. As they say here, recognition, people will fight for it, and some people will die for it. The recognition of being number one, that competitive edge is always deep. Yes, for sure. Love it, man. I had one other question that popped up here. So obviously here in Texas, we had that freeze that happened in February. That's going on here in the market that we cover. Is there anything going on in Australia? I have never been to Australia, but people are curious over here of, hey, is there things going on in Australia that we don't know? With the electrical grid or anything like that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we've got restrictions. So just imagine, so you guys are in Texas, right? Just imagine you went to go, you made a sale today, you applied for the permitting, or you put it into the process, and then let's say Impulse Energy comes back and they say, no, this person, we're not going to let them go solar. There's too much solar in the area.
Whoa.
And then, no, we can't, we're not going to let our customer go solar. So that's a really big thing that happens right now in certain states in Australia, where there's, 2 out of every 3 homes have got solar already. The power companies, the electricity distributors, the monopoly, they're getting together and creating policies that are stopping homeowners and businesses from generating their own power through the power of solar. So that's a huge, real urgency. And unfortunately, there are actually people missing out.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So
net metering is becoming less favorable here as well. You know, so I mean, it could be one-to-one, but you know, you may not be able to sell any back to the grid here.
I was on the phone yesterday to a customer out in Sanderson. Have you guys heard of Sanderson in just near San Antonio? It's about four hours.
San Antonio is around four hours from Dallas.
Yeah. So Sanderson is where, you know, Big Bend Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tiny town. And this lady, her electric bills every month were about $50 a month. And in the freeze that happened last winter for you guys, that $50 went to $200 a month because she was using the heating. And in her mind, the customer said, hey, look, you know, that's probably not always going to happen. So it's probably not going to be as urgent for me to go solar. And I said, yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's probably not as urgent because you're not going to have these extreme weathers. But I come from, you know, a land far, far away called Australia. And these grid restrictions are starting to happen. Now, your bill is quite low, $50, but imagine your next door neighbor whose standard monthly bill is $200. And during that freeze, it went to $300 or $400 a month. There's a lot more homeowners in that bucket than your bucket. Now, they're all going solar. So the more people that go solar, what it's going to do, it's going to cause like a race.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. How many people can start going solar? And the same thing that's happening in Australia right now is going to end up happening in the US one day in the future. So before that happens, get yourself in, get yourself approved, get yourself installed. And then she was like, all right, let's do this.
Wow.
Love it.
And before the restrictions come in, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, before the restrictions. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Normally, this is a two-way street, and we want to give you in the last section is opportunities to you guys to ask questions about Tony, about us, anything you ever think about. Any questions?
Yeah, man. How did you guys meet? Like I saw the name Team 10X, the solar channel. Tell us how like that all started.
Show me that arm, man. Look at that. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Damn.
I love
it. Yeah, man. You know, we're talking about, you know, back in the day, it was 2015, 2016. Got into solar, and it was, like I said, not the best year financially, but just learning, you know. And I had always seen Daniel. He was at the same company, and I would always see his name at the very top, you know. And I was like, man, one day I'm gonna be there, you know. And you know, then we ended up going to different companies, and then we reconnected at another company, and then from there, it was good. You know, we were making sales. You know, I was next to him, number one. I was still number two, but you know, I'm still working, man. I'm still working. But you know, we started talking about Grant Cardone and, you know, 10X, and he was telling me he went to the what is it, the 10X,
the GrowthCon?
GrowthCon,
yeah. Boom. So he showed me these pictures, and I was like, dude, I followed Grant, and then, you know, started connecting, and then I was like, okay, this guy's not that bad. You know, I always pictured Daniel just being like this complete douche, but no, he was really cool. He actually took me under his wing, and because, you know, I mean, sales wise I was doing good, but I could have done better, right? And he saw potential that I had, and when you're talking about finding a team and finding a mentor, I'm glad that, you know, I connected with Daniel, and then from there we just started working together, and Daniel was like, man, I really don't like working with anybody, and I was like, oh, well, thanks for working with me, you know. And I would always go to his house. I'd stay, you know, we'd knock doors, make calls. And there was one night where he was like, hey, man, are you going to go home? And like, I am, man, I'm here. I'm sleeping on the couch. Yeah. And then, and then from there, I mean, we just stayed connected. And then that's when we started just kind of building something, right? So,
yeah. Something that, you know, this industry has been up and down. I've been doing this for about 7 years. And the thing is, we work really, really hard for the information that we have, very hard. So I try to just, like hug all the information, don't give it to nobody. I'm a solopreneur. I work so much for this information. I don't know if it happened to you guys, but when I start to knowing Tony better and better and say, you know what, do this, do that, try this way. And he was so humble enough to actually do it. And I said, okay, you know what, I like the result that he has because of this little tip or this little tip. And actually, Tony helped me to help, how to teach people, He teach me how to teach people and to duplicate myself. And when I start to duplicate myself, just to give, the more that you give, the more that you're gonna get. And that's where the team start to grow and grow. And he tell everybody, tell friends and family and friends and all that. So we start to grow our company like really rapidly. By the time I switch then from solopreneur to like a team. And that's just exactly what Grant said. You have to like recruit and treat like a family. I mean, we in this together. So that's we start Team 10X. Ladies is my wife. She's so we thank Grant Cardone, really follow Grant Cardone. He said, you know what, you follow so much Grant Cardone. You eat, dream, everything Grant Cardone. We do 10X team. So you know what, Team 10X.
Love it.
So that's the story.
My question for you guys is, what's the biggest thing that you guys have learned from each other? Like, what's the one thing that made a big difference in your sales or life?
Yeah. So what I've learned, well, obviously, like the closing, and what I've noticed too is like what I've seen in solar is like you always have like that wingman. You always have like that partner that always complements. I wouldn't say weaknesses, but other areas that can help, right? And that's what I've learned from Daniel. Is like, okay, Daniel's great at this, I'm great at this, and then we put it together. It's like, man, look out! And just I'm like talking to you guys. It's like you got Carlos, you got Chad. It's like, dude, look out, man.
Yeah.
And that's the way what I'm learning from Daniel. In that sense.
And the other day we were talking about this, and everybody that we go in touch and talk, they always have a women. They always say in pairs. I don't know why, because again, it's boring doing by yourself. And we coming from this company, and the Good Faith Energy, the great company with Mo and all that. And he have his women too. His Michael.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn from these people. We learn from like when we start in Solar City, they always have the manager and assistant manager. They always have two people. So Tony helped me a ton to understand the concept to be partners in the office.
Yep. You guys started in Solar City back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's where I started. Yeah.
Yes, I started over there in Solar City back then. I was just first door that I knocked, first door that I saw, because I don't even know nothing about. So I mean, I did my research back then, like 2 or 3 days before. Okay, story is good. Hey, this is my history, and it was a sale. And Tony started in Solar City too.
Mm-hmm.
Like great guy.
Yeah, first door that I knocked, first slam door. Well, here we go. Yeah, and it just kept going. Yeah.
Yep. So what is the plans, man? What is the plan for you guys in the the rest of the year? What is your plan?
Yeah, so we're growing out the virtual team that sells into the US. One thing that's the world economy has taught us over the last 12 months or 18 months is, you can't rely on one, just one thing, like one team or one sales source, not because of the team, but because of that, the way that they sell. So for example, door to door, right? Mm-hmm. Or a team calling from an office, or only selling into one state, or only selling in one country. Now we know, like, things can be so random, like some crazy pandemic could hit us. Next thing, it could be zombies, whatever, right? You just got to have various forms of streams in the business. So if something does go down or if something gets shaken, everything else is still running. So the plans over the next, between now and the end of the year, is to just blow up our virtual team selling into the US.
Nice. That's great. Great.
It's great to know that you are got your eyes on Texas too, man. Right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, really good closers. You can call Tony,
Or you could call Daniel.
how about Chad, man? Chad, same goals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We discuss it on the daily as well, about different ways that we can strengthen what we do. And ultimately, the goal is to, you know, increase the size of the team right now. Yeah.
Nice.
That's good. That's
I mean,
good.
our systems are in
yeah.
place. We've got the capacity. The culture is good. We know that, you know, we're able to shorten that time that it takes for someone to achieve their results when they join our team. So, you know, we want to make sure that we are able to, you know, make that available for a wider audience.
That's what's
That's
up.
great. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Exactly. We're on the same page right there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a couple of minutes left, guys. You know, we really appreciate your time to take and you know, talk to not just us, but you know, people out there that are wanting to find out more about solar, you know, get into the industry, whatnot. Can you share with the, you know, people that are listening where they can find you know, your website, where you guys are located, you know, all the little details like that. So we're gonna, you know, attach it to the YouTube channel and then also in the links and whatnot.
Yeah, so you can find us through all of our social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I mean, mostly, you know, Instagram as well. So, I mean, it's either myself, Chad Corp, or the Carlos Villanueva, or Solera.
Yeah. Look up Solera Pro U on YouTube. We've got, you know, our episodes from the office days, and there's more content going up all the time on there as well.
What is Solera Pro U? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. Solera Pro U is something, you know, very different to what you're going to find with standard solar training in the market. So Solera Pro U is going to show you how to sell a, you know, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 solar system over the phone without having to use Zoom. Straight phone.
And that's huge right there.
Yeah. What we find, and look, Zoom is great, you know, doing the virtual is great because you can pretty much do the same process that you do when you're on the doors. What we find with phone is you're able to completely simplify it, not just for the customer, but for yourself in your mind as well. So Grant Cardone says, the only thing that you can rely on the phone is your tone of voice. And you use your tone of voice to connect with the customer, to build different emotions, to get your point across, to tell them a secret, you know, like the restrictions are coming in, right? So by using the phone, you can, number one, simplify. The customer is completely focused on your voice only. They're not looking at anything else. And you can get them involved quite easily as well. And you can control the information that you send to them. So you can send them a text message with the photo of the design or the savings, but you send it to them in the section that you want them to be focused on.
Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Make sure you guys get it. I think we're gonna get another one.
Maybe we can put affiliate.
Oh,
an affiliate description under.
That will help you guys set that up.
yeah.
That's awesome, man. Guys, man, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Take a little bit of your time. Busy day, busy life in solar, and you know, share and with all this information because we need it. We definitely need it. But as a matter of fact, we do these Zooms, this conference is because we need that information. But we help other people to magnify this because if we need this information, like 1,000 people need it too. So thank you so much, Chad. Thank you, Carlos, Tony.
Yes. No, thank you guys again, man. We're gonna share this pretty much everywhere, and we're gonna get you guys how to put it. We're gonna share it to a lot of people, man. People gotta know who you guys are because you know, you helped me, you've helped Dan, you've helped our team. So with the trainings and everything you guys got on the YouTube channel. So definitely looking forward
to you guys
to
as well. You guys are doing great things. Daniel, I watched your YouTube channel last night, the content that was on there, you know, for Spanish speakers looking to sell solar, you know, virtually and at the door. Crazy stuff, man. So anyone that, you know, speaks Spanish, jump on Daniel's channel. You guys are crushing it.
Yeah, we
Thanks so
just
much, Dan.
specialize in
Love it.
Spanish because a lot of people are looking at my daughter right here. Say hi. Thank you again, and nothing. We'll see you in the next one, okay?
All right,
Thank you,
man.
man. Take care, guys. See you later.
10x,
Later, guys.
Woo,
Later.
let's go.